Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and once again it's time for another full body workout. Sorry guys, this first little clip is really blurry. There was a fingerprint over the thing. I realized it went over, cleaned it with a lens wipe. So I decided with the back squats I want to do a little bit more pause work. So I'm trying to do some pause reps and I'm just going to build these up. So again, I get the best carryover when I want to get real strong if I do a lot of pause work. We've seen me do it in the past. You guys will watch me at one point, a couple years back, even do a 2-second pause with 455. So I kind of want to get back up to that. So again, just building it back up. And something I'm noticing, I still don't feel super stable on my squats and my back. And I think, and again, you guys will notice I work rows back in. I feel like some of my support muscles for my big three is not getting everything I want out of pull-ups. Pull-ups make me look better. They build my lats. But when I want again, that upper shelf, I do need to do some rows. So I work some rows in. So basically I'm doing six basic movement patterns, right? Squat, bench, deadlift, pull up, row, overhead press. Quads are looking good. The legs are nice and thick. So again, did these, keep in mind that's a 55-pound bar. So these two pause reps were done with 375. And again, I'm not trying to go crazy hard on these. I'm going to just slowly work this up. So same thing. You guys haven't seen me do much more than about 415 on a back squat since throwing the belt on. But again, I do need to build it up, and I will. But again, I can let my other stuff build the squats. I want to do a lot of the pause work because it makes me strong. And I'll have workouts where I come in and do more volumes of this than others, right? But I don't always have to have a lot. Just training maxes alone will build me up. And so again, I'll build it up. Again, still getting used to the running and all the other athletic stuff. But again, you guys have seen me do this stuff in the past. I'll get back to a 500 squat, but I'm going to do it at a lighter body weight as we lean out. That's going to be the fun part, right? So the pause work really, really will help me a lot. So trying to do these pauses with finding kind of my optimal position. I know where my best stance is, but I do feel like my back is a weak link in my squats right now, and I can feel it. Part of it though, because again, trying to watch shoulder health, I'm doing a little bit different grip. So again, it's a little harder to get tight, but as soon as I get good at rows again, it tends to carry over, especially my deadlift, but definitely that shelf for the squat. So benching, yeah, I kind of went with what I've been doing, went with the wider grip, and sure enough, we were able to get 3 reps here, all paused. So again, for the benching, did 3 pause reps of 315. Now I'm just outside the rings. So this is a fairly wide grip, but again, obviously this is almost no arch. It's pretty much flat back, right? Pretty much flat back here, just getting some quality sets in. And again, the benching will do really well with this now that I'm benching 3 days a week again. And I don't really need much else. I feel like the overhead press as it goes up will carry over to the bench. So really it's going to be, let's just build the upper back, build all the pause benching, build the overhead. That will pretty much do what I need to do. I did do a set of band press downs here at the end. I did them on camera, so I left it in. But again, also a little bit of tricep work, not bad, but I don't need to do it all the time. So again, we'll discuss more of what we did as we go through here. But again, same stuff I've been doing, right? We're focusing on squat, bench, deadlift, pull-ups, right? But then I'm also now saying, okay, the overhead press has got to come back, and I do feel like some rows. Rows need to be in there. And that was a decision I had to think about. I want the biceps to recover, so I need to just avoid anything supine. But if I do enough pulling, I feel like they'll get good stimulus. My biceps were bigger before when I wasn't doing curls than all these years of curls now. But the benching, so we did that. Then we did pause work, trying to do nice, long, solid pauses with 275 after. So again, bench. Like benching and pressing is going to be a pretty high priority for me. You guys will notice the squatting and deadlifting is slightly de-emphasized in terms of volume, but it can be because I'm doing sled work, we're doing box jumps, we're doing all that stuff, right? So we're getting a lot of that, plus I run 3 days a week. So I want the run times to continue to get better, and that's kind of a goal I've got, is to get under 200 pounds, be leaner, squat 500, and have a 25-minute or faster 5K. All right, deadlifts went pretty good here today, but again, I can tell, I know that the rowing is going to bring my deadlift back up. This still felt like a good set, but did 500 for a triple here. So again, left maybe a rep in the tank, right? I know I probably had more than a rep in the tank. That looked really clean and easy. It felt harder than it looked. So yeah, I had at least another rep or two, but I don't take them all the way to the crazy extreme. All right, overhead pressing. This has taken a little bit of getting used to, and I know people are like, you should be stronger, but the issue is the range of motion. So again, I am getting better at almost locking. So a lot of these I'm trying to pause it a little more at the top. Some of these I get in a hurry. It feels more pause than it looks. So again, I'm going to work on that a little bit more. Right there, I kind of pause it briefly. So slowly but surely, these are all 5 or more reps. I got like 6 or 7 on the last couple sets. I didn't really count. I just took them to where it stuck at the bottom, felt like failure. So again, this is going to be a process to rebuild this overhead. But I feel like I get the best range of motion with this grip. That's why I went with this particular grip. More of that medium grip. And I might bring it in later, but again, it feels like a good angle for me right now. So again, gonna have to just press. So if I figure if I do at least 3 sets of it every workout, it will improve, right? Old muscle memory. Keep in mind, people who remember I used to do with calibrated plates, I used to strict press 225 all the time. Like I've done it at least a dozen times on camera in the past years ago. So we know that I'm able to, and I'm stronger at benching now than I was then. So we know that I'll get there. But I do feel like the muscles involved with this will improve my weak link on my wider grip bench. So I'm going to overhead press. So I'm just going to get the shoulders and everything strong. But I feel like my delts are still really weak. Plus we have the range of motion. All right, pull-ups, I decided to do my wide grip ones. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do the wide. Let's let my biceps rest. I still feel a ton of bicep. What's crazy to me, I feel tons of bicep on pull-ups no matter what. First set was a little heavy. I felt like the range of motion was compromised just a hair. I grabbed a 45, thought it would be okay. I'm like, I can get 3, a little heavy. So I went down to 25 and did some sets of 5. I like to do the wide grip like this. I did it for a long time and it really blew my back up. Like, so more so than other pull-ups. So I like it and I don't really care what anyone thinks about it, quite frankly. This adds more width to my back than anything else I've ever done, especially if I go into a hang at the bottom. All right, so I feel like this with the rows thrown in will give me what I need. It's going to give me everything I need for any bicep stimulus from big movements for now, hitting a couple angles. I need the grip and forearm training, but also I need that upper back. And I feel like because I did tons and tons of rowing when I was strong at overhead pressing, like I did a lot of rowing too, you know. So I feel like the Pendlay rows are going to help me with that. They help me with my deadlift. So I decided to do them with the axle bar today. I got sets of 10 with 190. I need to obviously increase that weight, you know, but I haven't done these in a while. I haven't not only done Pendlay rows, but I haven't used that axle bar. So again, tends to blow my forearms up. I'm like, I have the axle, I might as well use it. I mean, I could do these with a normal bar too, and it builds grip. And I might, but I'm like, let's just mess with the axle bar for just a bit. I feel like the extra grip training will help me. Plus, again, the extra upper back from rowing, I do feel like will bring the squatting and everything back up. These carry over to my deadlift. And so again, I almost feel like as much as I love pull-ups, it's hard for me to not do rows. They just carry over so much, particularly to my deadlift, and I felt like the overhead press. So again, did 2 sets of the rows. In place of doing any hammer curls. I'm like, you know, I could do hammer curls for more arms and forearms. I could. But do I really need an isolation when I know I could use the extra upper back, the extra rear delt, right? All that stuff. So I feel like this puts me back to, oh my God, we're back to what I used to preach. You guys remember? I used to be like, your 6 basic movement patterns. A squat, a hip hinge, vertical pull, vertical press, horizontal press. That's back where we are, isn't it? All right, box jumps, I did 10 sets today. And it was easy. Like, it was kind of cool because I was racking and unracking other stuff. So while I did these, I took a plate off between every set from the bar. So you'll notice the deadlift bar, or sorry, the bar. So there, the axle bar, you'll see the plates. As I get further in, I just started unloading a plate, do a jump, unload a plate, do a jump. You know, I did that, and then the same thing. I pushed my sled down to the street, did a jump, then put my plate on the sled, you know, did a jump, you know, pretty much did all that. So it let me do the other stuff I needed to do for loading and unloading the plates and just take whatever 20 seconds or whatever between to do a set of my box jumps. So it was really efficient to just get in and do these. But we got 10 sets of box jumps. You guys know how I feel about these. So again, the jumping and the sled work, I feel like, again, help build the squats and stuff back up. The heavy singles and the pause work will be enough. This builds a lot of the muscles and performance we need, especially with the sled work. But again, overall athleticism. So, think about everything we're doing. We're doing the big movements, a lot of big full body type movements, a lot of standing movements. I mean, the pull-ups and the bench are not, but the other stuff all is. We're just going to keep getting super athletic and use it as I get leaner. All the fasted training, I'll keep trimming down over time. We'll keep getting leaner and leaner and get more athletic. So if we look at what we're doing, it's all big, heavy structural movements, most of it. It's working every muscle. Okay. Then we do plyometrics, do box jumps all 3 of these days. So we get our speed strength in. Okay. Then we get our sled work in. So we get our high intensity cardio and also some hypertrophy or GPP. All right. So we have jumping, we have GPP. I run 3 days a week. I try to hit at least a 5K all 3 of those days. We're doing the barefoot running. That's our overall just conditioning and fitness. And then I do the really long slow lifts on the bike later. So we have 3 different cardio modalities. We do really heavy work and then some rep work on the, so we have, again, max type work, heavy work. Okay. Rep work for size, jumping for explosiveness, sled for GPP, then running and the biking for all the other cardio. The idea here, I think most people realize, let's just get super fit, let's get super athletic. I turn 49 later this year. I just want to be as fit as I possibly can. So obviously we'll continue to get leaner with all of that. But let's just get strong, let's get fit, let's get athletic, let's be healthy. That's the name of the game. But again, all this is, again, very similar to a lot of my old school type training that I used to do, even when people thought I looked my biggest, right? And yet then we're combining it with all the fasted stuff, all the cardio conditioning. So we're going to try to be more athletic and leaner while being as big and strong as we were at that point. It's going to be the goal. But again, I just want to be super fit, super athletic. So then the sled, and I did a set of band press downs at the very end. But as far as the other stuff goes, the reason all the overhand grip, it's like I want the biceps to fully recover. And they get a ton of work no matter what. I want them to inflammation to be completely gone so that I can luck out that overhead press. So we don't go very fast on the way down with the sled, and then I sprint on the way back. So it's just a nice leisurely push that I could probably do for 5 minutes if I had to. But, I take it all the way down, turn the sled down, then we sprint on the way back. So this gets us some good GPP, and I like to do this. I was worried the rain was going to prevent it, but it's just light sprinkled, and it didn't really follow through, so that's good. So it didn't interfere with my sled work. So I push it down, we turn it around, and then we sprint it on the way back, at least most of the way back. I think I'm already kind of sprinting as we're coming back around the corner. Trying to take it pretty quick. So I do this, and then we finished up with some band press downs. Everything was good today. The only thing I would have liked is if my strength would go up faster on the overhead work and the range of motion would improve, but we're just going to have to take it in stride. But otherwise, happy with everything. Then we have the band press downs. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.